Good morning. It's the 5th of July, 2024 here in South Central Alabama. I am at my little mock-up conical camp here, and I'm here to talk about what I'm doing. Why? What's this all about? Not really a bushcraft show, kind of a survivalist thing, because I am actually a degreed person in disaster management, in emergency management I should probably call it, and I'm looking to help build cheap shelters for people that, when an emergency comes, knocks them out of their home. Homeless people already live out in the streets, but some people, we all look down at the homeless as being horrible, terrible people sometimes, but you know what? Surprise, surprise, you get homeless overnight. So I want to cover these types of shelters that I've created. Well, actually I've copied some. Actually, I think I've copied all of them from somebody from somewhere down the line. The 8-foot semicircle cone is, and I won't call it a teepee, okay? I will call that one over there a teepee, even though it's made out of a roofing tarp material, so it's still a tarpie, but it is based on the way a teepee is made, with smoke flaps and poles on the inside and stuff. I've made all three of these cones, these conical shelters, to be comparable, so that you can make a judgment call on how you want to make a shelter for your needs. These are made out of these three are made out of 12 by 16 foot tarps. I don't know what that is in meters. Meters figure it out. So 12 feet wide by 16 feet long, and the semicircle gives quite a bit of excess product left over, which I use for a floor in one of the other conicals. The other conical is a 2/3 of a circle. It takes up most of the entire tarp with very little waste, gives a larger floor plan, allowing more than one person to be able to sleep, or one person to be able to sleep in it very comfortably. The first one, the 8-footer, really is only good for one person, and being as they're all based on an 8-foot structure, they show what you can get out of 8 feet. In this 8-foot semicircle cone over here, you get an 8-foot floor, 8-foot diameter floor, but an 8-foot diameter floor is a circle. 8 times 3.14, it's going to be 27 feet in diameter or something, or excuse me, circumference, 27 feet in circumference. And you can get a couple of people in there, but really you can only get one person in there, so it's a one-person type of thing. I've gone to these external bipod frames because when you put one pole up in the middle of these conicals, you take up a lot of space. And if you're only making an 8-foot conical, space is a premium. When you go to 10 feet, 12 feet conical, if you want to make a cone that big and not go teepee style, the space gets bigger. You can get away with putting a pole in the middle, but then you have to have a pole that's very, very long, very, very tall, and it gets to be kind of unwieldy. There's a point of efficiency on making these that you kind of get by experience. On the 2/3 semicircle cone, which is shorter but wider, 10 and 2/3 feet in diameter at the base, you got a lot more room. I mean, it's really more, looking at it, it's more comfortable looking. It's just a better situation all the way around, except it's shorter, so you don't have that much stand-up room in it. It's actually, in my opinion, more aesthetic looking, more pretty looking too than the other. Again, you can put it up with a center pole, but using a bipod or a tripod or a quadrupod on the outside sure makes a big difference when it gets down to opening up your floor space on the inside. Now the first one, the 8-foot symmetrical cone that's 7 feet tall, uh, I saw K-Dog Crazy. He used a 20-foot tarp, so he ended up getting the 10-foot diameter cone with probably 8 feet or so height, and he used teepee pole for. I think he used six poles to make what he called a teepee. By the way, if you're looking at making a cone, you can do it with 3 poles. That's really actually a tetrahedron. If you do 4 poles, you're kind of getting into an area of a pyramid. 6 poles makes a better rounded off cone. 8 poles even better. The more poles the merrier, but there is a point in time where too many poles get in the way. So after some time and experience, you find out how to do that. The second one, the 2/3 semicircle that comes up to be a 10-foot plus diameter floor with a 6-foot peak. I saw, let's see, Far North Bushcraft and Survival made one, and so did It's Good in the Woods. Those are both YouTube. K-Dog Crazy, all those 3 are YouTube makers of this. Basically bushcraft type people, well, adventurers, hikers, that kind of thing. People that like to go hunting in the woods and stuff and play out in nature. But now they went, even they did a lot of the work where you put in grommets, they taped up the edges and stuff. I did not tape up hardly anything. These did not take any time at all to make. Again, I'm thinking in terms of you've had an emergency or you're a homeless person, you don't have access to a lot of the bushcraft ideas like the 5 C's or something. Maybe you got $20 and maybe there's a Harbor Freight store and maybe there's a you know, where you can buy a tarp and stakes or whatever, maybe a grommet kit. I happen to use on these what do you call tarp clips instead of grommets. A lot easier to put on. However, let's go over to this 8-foot diameter teepee, which again has its advantages. In my opinion, a teepee is the ultimate. I love teepees. It's the ultimate, and it kind of bothers me when people call a cone a teepee, but you know, no biggie. So anyway, this 8-foot teepee is about this. It's about the same size as the 8-foot. It's got 7 foot wide and it's like 8 or 9 feet front to back. So the floor space is made up a little bit differently. The entrance is a little bit lower. You kind of got to, for an old guy like me, it's hard to get in and out of on a small teepee. But that's as small a teepee. An 8-foot teepee is probably the smallest you want to make. Good for kids to play in, but for a human being, you got to start looking at 10 feet at least, and preferably 12, 14, 15 feet, 13, 12, let's see, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 feet diameter teepees before you start getting the luxury of space, the ability to build a fire, and all the benefits that go along with a teepee. Now, I do not want to denigrate a teepee at all. Teepees come from many different people in the plains in North America, Canada, and the United States. They have a long history. There's different styles. There's teachings that go with each one. And there are many people that when you make a teepee, you may be accused of cultural, what do you call that, appropriation, which I think the teepee is such a fine thing that, boy, everybody should appropriate it. But it takes a bit of knowledge, a bit more information than it is just to make a conical type structure. So what's this all for? This is primarily for when you're homeless. Or, well, you can go out hunting and have fun too, but I'm trying to show that there's a way to make yourself shelter-wise smart, because these tents, and I'm going to put up a tent, tents don't last. Tents, you got to put a blue tarp over the top. Even though they come with a rain fly or something, they still leak. You got to still put something on top. That's just the way it is. So anyway, what am I here for? I'm making these for fun, kicks, giggles for the next apocalypse, and let me go back and I'll talk about that in a minute.